When something angers us, humans have rapid cognitions that motivate us to improve our mood. But anger itself can inhibit our ability to reach equilibrium. We see this in how angry people ruminate on how bad they feel, or how they try to vent their anger and end up prompting aggression. So there must be better ways to regulate emotion aside from ruminating and venting that help keep aggression at bay. And it turns out that has a lot to do with how much a person is aware of and able to classify their emotions. This is called emotion differentiation. For example, if people lack the capacity to describe and classify what they're feeling at a given time, they will find it difficult to discern more detail about their emotions beyond the fact that they feel bad. Low emotion differentiators are more distracted and less engaged during times of stress, and also less capable of thinking carefully about their options for how to behave under stress. High emotion differentiators spend less time on counterproductive practices such as ruminating and venting. When people are better at differentiating their negative emotions, they have better emotional control, which means they have more ways of dealing with anger, so they're less likely to turn to aggression in the first place. Feeling angry is a part of life, but being aware of what kind of negativity you're feeling can help you control it and get over it.
Dogs are noted for their extreme friendliness towards humans. They crave human company and gaze intently at their human companions. The partnership between dogs and humans stretches back tens of thousands of years into prehistoric times. It has worked out surprisingly well for dogs, who, with human backing, have become Earth's most abundant land carnivore. Dogs evolved from wolves through a process of domestication by humans. Even when they're hand-raised by humans, modern wolves seldom show the degree of devotion to humans that dogs do. This has led scientists to suspect that the hypersociality of dogs towards humans is more than just a learned trait and has to do with evolved genetic differences between dogs and wolves. In 2022, a team of American geneticists published findings identifying genetic differences between dogs and wolves that may be responsible for the special canine attachment to humans. On chromosome number 6 of the dog genome, the researchers identified several genes associated with dog hypersociality. Interestingly, these genes correspond to parts of the human genome that are also involved in social behavior. Specifically, mutations in the corresponding part of the human genome can lead to a rare condition called Williams-Beuren syndrome. People with this syndrome have hypersocial behavior like that of dogs, along with certain cognitive deficits. Researchers have found evidence that dogs may have cognitive deficits like those of people with this syndrome. The findings might tell us far more than just how social devotion to humans evolved in dogs. Given the genetic similarities, they may tell us much about how social behavior evolved in humans. There are 118 species of weaver birds, and most live in sub-Saharan Africa. While some species live on the open savanna and eat mostly seeds, others live in forests and prefer feasting on insects. Researchers looked at studies done on different species of weaver birds to examine the relationships between their diets, habits, and social behavior. They found that seed-eating birds living in the open savanna tended to forage in groups, nest in large colonies, and have multiple mates per breeding season. The insect-eating, forest-dwelling birds, on the other hand, were more likely to forage and nest alone and have a single mate per season. These divergent social behaviors are likely influenced by their different diets and habitats. Working together makes it easier for birds that eat seeds out on the savanna to find spots with a large supply of seeds. There's also safety in numbers out on the open savanna, further incentivizing flocking. Their polygamous breeding may be a result of the smaller number of nesting sites in the savanna. By contrast, working together to find food wouldn't help forest-dwelling, insect-eating weaver birds as much, since insects tend to be more widely dispersed. There are a lot more suitable nesting sites in the forest, so these birds don't need to live in colonies, and monogamy makes sense for birds with more solitary lives. It seems that birds that eat bugs don't like to be bugged.
What is precipitation? Clouds hold millions of tiny water droplets. Over time, a cloud can hold more and more tiny drops of water or pieces of ice. Wind and hot temperatures make the drops, and pieces bump into each other. They then group together. They get bigger and heavier until they're too heavy to even stay in a cloud. They fall to the ground as something called precipitation. Precipitation can include rain, snow, hail, or sleet. Precipitation can form into different types. This is because of different air temperatures. If the air between the cloud and the ground is warm, the precipitation will fall as rain. If the rain freezes between the cloud and the ground, it becomes sleet. If the air in the cloud and below is very cold, the precipitation will fall as snow. Hail forms when ice crystals get blown upward inside of a cloud over and over. The ice will get bigger and bigger each time until it finally falls from the sky. Sleet is smaller than hail. Sleet falls in cold weather. Precipitation comes from storms. Thunderstorms are the most common type of storm. They are caused when warm, wet air hits cold, dry air. The warm, wet air rises fast to form huge clouds. What is precipitation? Clouds hold millions of tiny water droplets. Over time, a cloud can hold more and more tiny drops of water or pieces of ice. Wind and hot temperatures make the drops, and pieces bump into each other. They then group together.
Humans are pretty lucky with the way we can communicate. Unlike animals, we have the perfect length necks and excellent control of our breaths. Both of these characteristics allow us to form words. Although animals can't talk like us, they still have special ways to communicate. For example, dolphins have one of the most sophisticated forms of communication. They make distinct whistling sounds that help identify themselves. Dolphins may also squeak or yelp depending on the situation. Nevertheless, each sound relays meaningful information. You have probably heard some birds say words just like us, but they are merely repeating what they hear. Most birds communicate through songs and squawks that can be beautiful for us to listen to. Other animals communicate without making a sound. Elephants show affection by wrapping their trunks around each other. Whales leap out of the water to send messages to their friends. Bees perform a special dance when they have located nectar in a tree. Even if it's just our pet dog wagging his tail or our pet cat purring, all animals have their own way to convey information to us and each other. Humans are pretty lucky with the way we can communicate. Unlike animals, we have the perfect length necks and excellent control of our breaths. Both of these characteristics allow us to form words. Although animals